The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey has become a huge hit by busting some deeply ingrained myths in the American culture and by helping thousands of people become debt-free, regain a sense of confidence and control, and build a future for their families. The book advocates a specific process divided into 7 steps as a means to becoming financially secure. The motto of the book is, "If you live like no one else, later you can live like no one else." It serves the purpose to remind you that if you will make the sacrifices that most people aren't willing to make, later on, you will be able to live as those folks will never be able to live. It also points out that your financial life will begin turning around when you take responsibility for it when you look at the person in the mirror and commit to change. Here are the steps millionaire tycoon Dave Ramsey recommends. Step 1. Begin an emergency fund. Specifically, save $1,000 fast. This step is necessary to stop you getting derailed in subsequent steps when unexpected expenses occur. You start your makeover by setting up a budget every month. Spend every dollar on paper before the month begins. Get every dollar of your income a name and put it in an envelope. When you go shopping, take your envelope and spend your cash. When the cash is gone, you're done. Then set up your starter emergency fund. If your household income is greater than $20,000, aim for a $1,000 emergency fund. If your household income is less than $20,000, aim for a $500 emergency fund. If you use debt to cover an emergency after swearing off it, you will lose momentum. So start with a little fund to catch the little things before beginning to dump the debt. It is like drinking a light protein shake to fortify your body so you can work out, which enables you to lose weight. Twist and wring out the budget. Work extra hours, sell something, or have a garage sale, but quickly get your $1,000. Once you have the money in the emergency fund, just hide it at a place where you cannot get it quickly, curbing impulsive buying. But remember, the emergency fund must be in liquid. Once the emergency fund, or the part thereof, is utilized, replenish it as fast as you can, even if this means halting baby step 2 and returning to baby step 1. Step 2, start the debt snowball. This step is mathematically illogical, but we're dealing with human psychology here, so that's not the point. Here is how the debt snowball works. List all your debts, apart from your home loan, in order from smallest to largest. Do not be concerned with interest rates or terms unless 2 debts have similar payoffs, then list the higher interest rate debt first. Then, with intense focus, what Ramsey refers to as Visual focus, pay off the debts focusing on the smallest first. Do not attempt to pay off more than 1 debt at a time. This gives you quick feedback and keeps you motivated. The only time to pay off a larger debt sooner than a smaller one is a big-time emergency, such as owing the IRS and having them come after you, or in foreclosure situations. Once all the debts are listed from smallest to largest, start paying the minimum payments for all debts except the smallest ones. Pay the smallest ones in full. In the event that you are unable to begin tackling your debt, then you will need to do something radical: selling possessions, working overtime, taking a second job. You will arrive at the beginning of step 3 in around 18 to 20 months. When you reach this step, you have $1,000 cash and no debt except your home mortgage. Step 3A, finish the emergency fund. A full emergency fund covers 3 to 6 months of expenses. Emergency is something that was not expected, has a significant impact on you and your family, and you fail to live normally without covering it. To determine whether or not you should err towards 3 or 6 months, consider your situation. If you are in a riskier position, for example, self-employed, earning straight commission, then err on the side of caution. The emergency fund is applicable to everyone, even those with a guaranteed income. You cannot predict out-of-budget emergencies. Do not invest the emergency fund to gain more money. Remember, it's a trap. Keep the emergency fund liquid, ready cash, i.e., you can easily and rapidly access it. The only exception to the order of the steps thus far is if you have an impending major expense, such as a layoff or birth of a child. In this case, you would be wise to focus on step 3 before step 2. At this stage, now a family may consider saving for cash purchase or down payment of a home before moving to the baby step 4. In his own words, and I quote from the book, "I love real estate, but do not buy a home until you finish this step." A home is a blessing, but if you move into home ownership with debt and no emergency fund, Murphy will set up residence in the spare bedroom. Step 3B. Save for a down payment on a property. This is optional. You should save for the home if you have the itch before moving on to the next step. You are now debt-free except for the home mortgage, and you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. Getting to the end of this step if you are gazelle intense takes the typical family 24 to 30 months. Step 4. Invest 15% of your income in retirement. Now that you don't have any payments but a house payment, it should be easy to invest heavily even with a below-average income and ensure your golden years will have dignity. Invest 15% of before-tax gross income annually toward retirement. 15% is optimal because it allows you to complete the next 2 steps effectively. Furthermore, starting to invest for retirement at this stage in the plan allows you to reap the rewards of compound interest. When calculating your 15%, don't include company matches in your plan. Consider it gravy. By the same token, do not use your potential Social Security benefits in your calculations. Don't count on the government. Dave Ramsey recommends growth and income funds invested through Roth IRA and a 401k, and using all the matching and tax advantages available. The Roth IRA will allow you to invest up to $5,000 annually per person. There are some limitations as to income and situation, but most people can invest in a Roth IRA. The Roth grows tax-free. If you invest $3,000 per year from age 35 to age 65 and your mutual funds average 12%, you will have $873,000 tax-free at age 65. Step 5. Save for college. Ramsey stresses that the pedigree of the university should not be your key concern. The first rule of college, whether for you or for your children, is pay cash. The second rule is if you have the cash or the scholarship, go. But don't go into debt for a degree. College isn't a necessity, it is a luxury. Student loans have become normal, and normal is broke. Student loans are a cancer. Once you have them, you can't get rid of them. In his own word from the book, and I quote, "In some areas of study and in a very few careers, where you graduate from will matter, but in most it won't." How can you justify going into debt $7,000 to $5,000 for a degree when you could have gone to a state school and paid for it out of your pocket debt-free? If you have the $7,000 to $5,000 extra cash or a free ride scholarship and want to go to that private school debt-free, by all means, do it. Otherwise, reconsider. Aggressively apply for scholarships. The lists of these scholarships can be bought online, and there are even a few software programs you can purchase to help with your applications. If you are not sending hundreds of applications, you are probably doing something wrong. Also, when saving for college, you have to make at least 8% per year to keep up with tuition inflation. That makes baby life insurance and savings bonds not satisfactory. You can opt for prepaid tuition, or even better, a decent growth stock mutual fund invested through an educational savings account. Step 6. Pay off your home mortgage. Every dollar in your budget that you can find above living, retirement, and college should be used to make extra payments on your home. Myth: it is wise to keep my home mortgage to get the tax deduction. Reality: the tax deductions are no bargain. Some people would borrow on their homes to invest in higher return investments and pocket the difference. Sadly, when taxes, loan expenses, and commissions are calculated, the spread narrows and can barely justify the risk, because the returns do not account for tax and risk in the housing market. Sophisticated investors always factor in risk. Do not take out a 30-year mortgage and promise yourself you will pay it back in 15 years. You won't. No one ever does. This will end up costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. A good rule is that the payment on the mortgage should never be more than 25% of your take-home pay and less than a 15-year term. Step 7. Build wealth. By reaching the last step of your total money makeover, you have entered the top 2% of Americans. You are totally debt-free, no house payment, no car payment, you have no student loans, and you are free. Here is where you can continue to invest and build wealth until you have reached financial security. When your money makes more than you do, you are officially wealthy. When you can comfortably live on your investment income, you are financially secure. You have reached the pinnacle point when you can live off 8% of your savings. In conclusion, The book is crammed with tales from people, usually couples and families, who have followed the advice of Ramsey with positive results. I'm not exaggerating, I'd estimate there were more than 40 such stories. For a certain kind of reader, this probably makes the book more heartwarming and inspirational. I'd argue that it was a way to pad out what could have been a 30-page ebook. Despite that harsh critique, I still think the book is worth the money and would recommend it.